Well, good evening, everybody. And I'm really glad to see everybody turn out as a registrar of voters. Every one of you is a potential voter, and I really like that. Whether you vote by mail or vote at a polling place, makes no difference. Your vote's going to count, and I guarantee it. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I started to work for the county back in 1975 after I retired from the Navy in 1972. I went into banking. Some of you may remember Motherlode Bank in Placerville. I was their IT manager before I went to work for the county. And so through that time, I don't know how many department head positions I've actually held, about 14 or 15, somewhere along the way. Kind of lost my mind in 95. The recorder retired. I was working for her at the time. She asked me if I'd run, and I said, I don't know about that. But I did, and somehow I managed to eke out a victory. So, since 95, I've been your recorder clerk. That was what I was elected to. However, back in 2004, the Registrar of Voters retired after she'd been with the Elections Department for 20-some years. Michelle McIntyre, good friend of mine. Anyway, the CAO at that time asked me if I would take the Registrar of Voters position, and I said, of course. So I got a really quick introduction because there was an election coming up in about 4 months. And at the same time, the federal government felt that they needed to do something about the elections after the Florida debacle. And so they passed the Help America Vote Act, which gave every county millions of dollars, frankly, to buy a new voting system. So I had to get a committee together, a citizens committee. I had about 17, 20 people on it. Put the bid out. We had about 5 different companies. Can everybody hear me? Maybe I'm not holding. Okay. We had about 5 different companies that bid on it. To make a long story short, we selected the system we have now. You have to have a touchscreen voting machine in every polling place. It's a federal law for disability. So it's an ADA requirement. So this time I'm going to have 85 polling places. I'll have to have 85 of those machines deployed. It's no big deal, but for the disabled people that might need to use that machine, it's absolutely wonderful. We had a young man in there a couple elections ago. He had a guide dog. We brought him into the office, sat him down. He had to use the audio portion and a keypad, and he sat there, and it took him a little longer than you and I probably, but by golly, he voted. That was the greatest thing. Anyway, so time went by, and the Director of Veterans Affairs retired. So the CAO said, Bill, can you do that? I said, you bet I can do that. So now that's the jobs that I have. I'm going to be elected. Hear that? Positive statement. I'm going to be elected to the recorder clerk position. However, the board has said that I am now the registrar of voters, so that does go along, regardless of who gets selected. That goes along with the position. The Department of Veterans Affairs, I'm just doing that, so that would go probably somewhere else. The big thing with me is I love progress. I love technology. And I brought that to the recorder clerk's office. If you've ever been to the recorder clerk website, I have a little icon on there, and it has a little quill pen in an ink jar, and it has a cord going up, and it has a little computer mouse. And it says from the quill to the mouse. And that's the recorder clerk's office. We have one of the most forward-thinking recorder clerk's offices in this state. My website is one of the most recognized in the state as well as across the United States. It's very well organized. You can find anything you need on it from my office. I post everything every day by 6 p.m. at night. It's up on the website, all your documents, anything that's indexed. And since 1998, I've been working with the California elections and recording officials to bring electronic recording to California. It's taken us since '98. It's just one of those things. Takes time. But we finally got, because we had to have legislation, so I helped get the legislation passed. We got it passed. Electronic recording is now recognized in this state. There's about probably 18, maybe 20 counties in the state that are doing it now. El Dorado County is one of them. We recorded our 4,000 something documents since June. I just started it in June. So now anybody, banks, attorneys, title companies especially, they don't have to come to the office anymore. They can just do it electronically. And it's approved by the Department of Justice for the state of California. They come in and inspect everything once a year. I happen to have been elected the chairman of the board of the California Electronic Recording Transaction Authority. That's a mouthful. We call it CERTNA, and we meet down in Santa Clara County every other month, and we take care of business for electronic recording in California. So that I am just so tickled to death with that, you can't believe it, because that's kind of like the ultimate. Other states are doing it around the country. California is now doing it, and I think it's going to be, it is the coming thing of the future. The Registrar of Voters position is also, I've conducted 34 elections since I've been registrar. You know, we have like this May, I have a very small election coming up, a vote-by-mail election for about 300 voters in a district, a small district. And so we handle that, guess what? We handle that the same way we're gonna handle the one in June. We gotta do the same basic stuff. So anyway, I just wanna tell you that I'm positive. I wanna do better things. I don't know what else I can do, but I will find something that is even better, and I will do it and make everybody proud, I hope. So, if there's any questions,